I mean, Judge Andrew Napolitano, you probably, in my opinion, you have the greatest introductory song of all time. Of all time. If you think about it,
Episcopo and you.
Well, if you think about it, it is the greatest note, I think, in music history. That last note that he sings from Turanto, that we will win, we will win. That's what the translation is in Italian. I still have chills. I'm wearing headphones, Judge, and I turned up the volume just to hear. Yeah, how lucky you are.
And I'm deeply grateful for you and for Joey and for the team that runs that each time I come on. But I'm sitting here getting a kick out of listening to you because here you are, one of the more prominent lawyers in New York City, and you're reading an ad for your competition.
Yeah, well, you know what? They're not really my competition. But, you know, Judge, let me make it a little personal. So I got a little beat up in the Daily News. One of their writers there. Basically, I'm going to not get into the details, but ragging on me, but saying I'm the reason why people hate lawyers because I'm defending this young woman who pushed an 87-year-old, is accused of pushing an 87-year-old vocal teacher on the streets of New York City, and that teacher fell and hit her head, and days later, after being in the hospital, she died. Right. And they charged her with manslaughter in the first degree, which is intent to cause serious physical injury. So in the bail hearing, what I said was the DA's office is overcharging this case because a mere push on the sidewalk does not exhibit intent to cause serious physical injury because, let's face it, 99% of the time when you push someone, and that's the word in the complaint, is she pushed her, that is not, number one, you don't intend to cause serious physical injury, and you don't cause serious physical injury. And I said the DA's office is overcharging the case. It should be maybe a criminally negligent homicide or possibly a reckless count, but not an intentional count. And they wrote this
whole...
What
did the Daily News say?
Oh, that I'm the reason why people hate lawyers. Overcharging means when you go to lunch and you get the bill and they charge you too much for that, or they made it into a money thing.
Live in another world. Wait till one of their kids is charged. The government always overcharges so that the case will end up somewhere in the middle where they want it. We all know that.
And just defend the role of the criminal defense attorney in society. You know, they reference to I represent
like you, and I'm not saying this because I'm on this show and you and I have been friends for 20 years. But without people like you, the Bill of Rights would be just an empty piece of paper, an empty parchment. Criminal defense lawyers bring the Bill of Rights to life and give it vitality and keep the government's feet to the fire and make sure that our rights are protected.
And I on behalf of all criminal defense attorneys, thank you. Well, why you should see the emails I get. Oh my God, Judge, and I represented Harvey Weinstein. I've represented some really people who are really vilified in the news, but this particular case has really gotten under people's skin. And the emails that I got this weekend. Why do you think? Is it just ignorance of how our system works and how our criminal justice system works? And
I think it's the belief that if the press has portrayed a person as guilty, they probably are, and why should we waste our time? Let's just lock them up and throw away the key, which obviously is not the American system and is not the system of law in the Western world.
Yeah, I always I use the reference to when I represented Lawrence Taylor. When Lawrence Taylor got arrested for rape, it was on the cover of the newspaper. The front page, big, his mugshot. And when Gloria Allred then sued him, when I got the case down to a misdemeanor, and then they sued him, and he was cleared of all liability.
What the heck did Gloria sue him for?
Because they're saying that the prostitute who he solicited, that he actually assaulted her. And it took the jury 45 minutes to return. They told us they just went in and ate their sandwich because they went in, they took the vote. They're like, well, I might as well eat lunch, and came out. But that decision was on page 39, above the P.C. Richards ads and below the 3 obituaries that the Daily News had.
Listen, we are all familiar with allegations being on the front page and exonerations being buried. A plane lands, it's not newsworthy. A plane crashes, it's newsworthy. That's just the way our friends in the media, of which you and I have been and still are a part, that's the way they play the game.
Well, Let's.
It's terrible, and then people suffer for it, including you and I and your clients.
Yes, exactly. It's no secret. I no longer appear on the Fox News channel because of one of my clients. His name was Roger Ailes. But you and I could do a whole show about that. I want to ask you to give the listeners here at AM 97 The Answer a little insight to what's going on with Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas and his wife and the text messages, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, Justice Thomas's wife, Ginny, in full disclosure, I know them both personally, was very active in attempting to persuade President Trump to do what he could, I think, lawfully, to prevent the Electoral College from confirming the election of Joe Biden as president, and she made those opinions known in text messages, which are now in the possession of the January 6th committee. She has every right to do that. The issue that the left is now raising is she's the wife of a member of the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas. Justice Thomas is going to be ruling on a number of January 6th issues, particularly discovery issues, who can be subpoenaed and for what. Is there an impropriety? Does she talk to him about this? Is she lobbying him on pillow talk? Is there the appearance of impropriety? Let me put it this way. If Justice Thomas were Judge Thomas, he would have to recuse himself if he were still in the Circuit Court of Appeals. But the rules for Supreme Court justices are different. They don't have to recuse themselves, and the other 8 members cannot compel them to do so. I trust and respect his intellectual honesty. The left does not. They're looking for a leg up. They're looking for one fewer conservative or purportedly pro-Trump vote on the court, and that's why they're making a big deal, in my opinion, out of nothing.
Do you think Justice Thomas is losing sleep over this situation, or is he at a point? He's the eldest. He's the eldest.
Not a bit. Right. And that thing in the hospital had nothing to do with this. It was a little infection in his lungs, which I understand is now gone.
Okay, good. Well, I'm happy to hear that. He is the longest serving member of the court. You know, I was with Justice Scalia in Italy during Clarence Thomas's confirmation hearings, and Justice Scalia taught me new curse words when he was talking about the media and how they were attacking Justice Thomas back in 1991. So he's had a long run in that court.
Should still be praying for the soul of Arlen Specter, because it was Senator Specter's cross-examination of Anita Hill that saved the day, if you recall that.
Well, I actually don't, because I was in Italy drinking wine with Nino.
Oh,
Yeah, I was. Thank you so much, Judge Andrew Napolitano.